All right, Michaela is singing again, which means we are back in the lobby bar for the week of April the 24th, 2023. Brian and Michaela here with you as always. Michaela, this week we are digging into a little known ingredient, little known to me. I think little known to you, maybe little known to a lot of our listeners out there, but it's been gaining in popularity over like the last 5 to 10 years, and that's what we're going to be talking about today in Lobby Bar. It's the shrub, the noble shrub, not what's in your yard, what's in your cocktail glass.
That's in your cocktail glass. I have to say, when you came to me and said, "Hey, I've got an idea," and you mentioned this, I had just heard from a friend of mine who's into mocktails about this like the day before. So I had never heard about this until about then. And I've got to say, I'm very, very curious as to how you make it, what you do with it, what it's used for, how we can incorporate it into more drink movies. So tell me all the things about a shrub. It's called a shrub, not a shrubbery. So I can't make any Monty Python jokes. I'm sad.
Well, yeah, I think you just snuck one in there, but that's okay. Yeah, so the shrub. So it's not something that I was super familiar with. But like I said, in the last like 5, 10 years, it started seeing like this shrub thing like showing up on like cocktail menus and at fancy restaurants. They seemed to be particularly big, kind of in our neck of the woods, actually, Michaela, like in Charleston, Savannah, like the cocktail scenes there, shrubs started to get really popular. And I was like, what is a shrub? It is like a vinegar-based drink. But that doesn't really tell you that much about it. So where did this thing come from? So if you go in your time machine and you go back in time to like the I don't know like 17th century in England, they're going back and forth on their ships from America to England. They've got this fruit that's going to start spoiling. What do you do with it? You basically pickle it and turn it into like a liquid so you can preserve that, right? You don't want all of your berries to go to waste. That's expensive. That is a long journey. So what you do is you put your berries or your citrus, your fruit, into some sugar and you let it just kind of hang out for a bit. It's going to draw out some moisture on there. It's going to kind of preserve these, and then you're going to add that to some vinegar, and you get this like syrupy concoction. It's basically like your pickling liquid is basically what this thing is turning into. But it was really a method of preservation back in the day, Michaela, and that seems pretty good, I guess. You don't have refrigerators. You gotta preserve that stuff. So they would make these shrub concoctions with different, like I said, fruits and berries and things like that. To do. And then when you got wherever you're going with this, you just add it to some water to kind of reconstitute it. You turn it into like a little soda kind of thing, if you had some sparkling water, stuff like that, or you would put it into a cocktail. And that's really where this thing came to be. And then primarily it was lost to time, right? We don't need to make shrubs anymore. We've got freezers. I can go to the grocery store and buy a bag of frozen raspberries, and they're going to stay good for years and years and years. But I think there was like an underground shrub scene that just kept the wheels of shrubbery moving along until they were rediscovered. And I don't know, Michaela. So you'd mentioned that you were talking to a friend about these. These became very popular in mocktails, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So a friend of mine has was asking me if I'd ever made it in a cocktail. And I was like, I have no idea what you're even talking about. But pickling, that's got vinegar in it. I hate vinegar. My husband's English and he puts vinegar on like his fries.
Do you like
And
pickles though? Do you like
now
a
I
do you
do
like a
like
dill pickle?
pickles. I
Okay.
do. I do like that. And here's the thing. Apparently, I just need to educate myself a little bit more on all of the things that pickling has to do, like all the things that you pickle, because we talk about all the things, and I think that it sounds gross and acidic, but apparently it's vinegar and sugar, which makes the vinegar, it cuts that vinegary taste. It's very acerbic or something. We still haven't figured out the right word for that, but so
Sure.
I'm
Yep.
actually really excited to try this drink because, uh, you know, I thought I was going to hate it, and I don't, and it's really great. It's really
That's
kind of
right.
neat.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So the best way I can describe it is if you've had kombucha, it's kind of similar to that because it's like this vinegary kind of fruit kind of thing. It's not as intense of a flavor as what you get in a kombucha though. Think of like a bread and butter pickle, right? Not like your kosher dill pickle, like a bread and butter pickle because it's kind of sugary, it's kind of sweet and
Mhm.
syrupy, but it also has this little bit of a vinegary bite. But it's not going to be like a white vinegar, right? Like that's what you use to clean out your Keurig. That's what I use white vinegar for. This we're talking like apple cider vinegar or balsamic vinegar or white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, something like that. That's what you're going to be using here. And there's a couple of methods to do this in. So you can do like a cold steep. So basically you get your fruit, whatever it is, chop it up or cut it up or mash it up a little bit, put it into some sugar, let it sit for a couple of days in the fridge. It's going to basically like suck all of like the juice and stuff out of it into that sugar, and then you add vinegar to it. That's like a cold press method. That's supposed to be a little better if you want to preserve some of the fruit flavors, the finer flavors. If you want to make like as high of an end of the shrub thing as you possibly can, which is not what we did because who has time for that? What we did was the hot method of making a shrub. To get the shrub going. And the reason that we did this was because we're talking about Little Women this week, Michaela. We're going to talk all about pickled limes when we get to the episode, but that was basically the inspiration for this. So I said, let's try making a lime shrub and see what happens. We can add that to some cocktails, make it into a mocktail, do all sorts of things with it. So here's what I did. This is kind of the hot method. So you can swap limes out for anything you want, any fruit you want. You could probably even go buy frozen fruits and do this, or if you have leftover strawberries in the fridge, do it with that, whatever. So take a cup of sugar, a cup of water, put that on your stovetop, bring it to a boil, dissolve the sugar, boom, you made a simple syrup. Congratulations, you're good to go. So take that, and then you're going to add in, I did the zest and juice from like 8 small limes. Like these things were tiny. They were like barely bigger than golf balls. If you had like regular size limes, I would maybe do 6, but somewhere kind of in that neighborhood. Add the juice to it, let it simmer for about 10 minutes just to kind of get the oils out of that zest and stuff like that. And then you're going to put 2 cups of, I used white wine vinegar in mine. I'd be interested to do it with like apple cider vinegar or some other different kinds of vinegars, just to, see what the taste difference is. But white wine vinegar, 2 cups I used in mine. Put that in, just kind of bring that up to a boil to bring everything together, and take it off, put it into a jar, put it into a fridge. From everything that I've read, these shrubs are going to last for a super long time. I'm not going to tell you how long they'll last. You'll just have to use your best estimate on that. But now you're left with the shrub, and you can use it for all sorts of things, Michaela. We're going to be using it in a cocktail in the main episode this week, but traditionally, shrubs go really well with rum, or if you want to do mocktail, you can do just club soda, some ginger ale, ginger beer, stuff like that. Really simple. It's just you just use a little bit, like a spoon's worth of this stuff, so it's going to last you forever. And it jazzes it up. It's a weird thing. It's weird, and delicious and weirdly delicious.
Yeah. One thing I have really enjoyed adding to mine is any of the lightly flavored sparkling
Oh, like
waters.
sparkling water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
LaCroix, stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, but it's got to be light because you'll lose it. So I mean, and this one was lime. So Waterloo makes a really beautiful lime blackberry sparkling water that is just great. And so you can create a beautiful mocktail that way. I totally recommend that. It's very tasty.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're doing. Stay tuned for the Little Women episode. We're going to talk about the cocktail that we ended up making with this, but that is it. That's Shrubs in a nutshell. I got most of this episode off of themixer.com. Look down in the show description. I'll have a link to it down there if you want to do a little bit more digging. They've got a couple recipes and explain kind of the process of making those a little bit easier to follow along there with the written word, I know, than the podcast. But yeah, check out Shrubs. They're kind of an interesting thing. And we thought that the lobby bar would be a great place to talk about them because we're going to be using it this week in the main show, and it was just too much to bundle into the actual episode this week. So Michaela, Mario is still leading the way. Of course, it's making I don't know, millions of dollars. It's like 700 million, I think, worldwide now at this point. So kudos to you, Nintendo and Mario, Peach, Donkey Kong, all that crew there. But we do have some stuff coming out this week, Michaela. I wanted to talk to you about. None of it is probably going to push Mario, except for one, maybe. I'm kind of interested in this, but let me run through a couple of these here. We've got Big George Foreman coming. It's not something I'm familiar with. I mean, I'm familiar with George Foreman. He made the grill. Also was a boxer, probably more important to this story. Maybe, I don't know. But it looks like it could be okay. Chris Davis is in it. He was in Judas and the Black Messiah. Detroit is a very good actor. We'll see how that is, but this one's a little bit more up our alley and probably up everyone else's alley maybe Michaela, but it is Are You There, God? It is me, Margaret. That very classic Judy Blume book
Judy
coming to life, coming to
Bloom.
life.
Yeah. No, I'm so excited about that. I mean, it's probably a sexist statement. I think a lot of girls, especially, grew up with Judy Blume. Um, she wrote a lot of things. She had a very impressionable part on our lives if you were of a impressionable age in the 70s and 80s. And I think, there I don't think they've made a film about this before. I think I heard something in the 90s where they were going to try and they just didn't know how to do it from a content perspective that they thought would sell anything. So I'm glad they've taken a stab at it. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be good. I feel it in my bones. This is going to be something special.
That's right. Yeah, that is coming out. We've got Abby Ryder Fortson is playing Margaret, Rachel McAdams, Kathy Bates is in it, and yeah, like you mentioned, this was like a whole like generation of Judy Blume books for young girls and women. So I'm very excited to see how this ends up doing, especially coming right before we're talking about Little Women, another story that's endearing to large groups of people in the same way as Judy Blume. Maybe Judy Blume drew inspiration from Little Women. Hard to say. I'm not 100% sure. What else do we have coming out, Michaela? We're going to be talking about it next week on the main show, but 40th anniversary time, coming back to the movie theaters. Your husband's favorite Star Wars film, that is Return of the Jedi. We're going to go be seeing that on the big screen. Very excited to do that. Of course, go to Jabba's Palace, do all the things. We're going to have like 100 fun cocktails for that, hopefully, is the plan. But if you're not going out to the movie theater, maybe you have an HBO subscription. Maybe you want to watch this. I want to watch this. It is Love and Death. It's a miniseries. It stars Elizabeth Olsen and Jesse Plemons. It is based off of a true crime story. I don't know. It looks really good. I don't know a ton about the story, about this particular true crime story. Maybe you do, Michaela. You're a true crime fan, but I mean, it has Jesse Plemons in it. Love Jesse Plemons. It has Elizabeth Olsen in it. Love Elizabeth Olsen. It's going to be on HBO. HBO does awesome miniseries, so win, 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 win.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I love all things true crime. This is definitely based on a true story. It's gonna have it's got Kristen Ritter in it, who I really like from I think
Yeah.
she's been in a couple series that are really great. I'm super excited to see this. And I didn't realize it comes out next week. So, or at least it starts to come out next week. It's probably going to do that thing where we have to watch it every week, like we had to
It's
in the 90s.
it's a
Crazy.
TV show. It's going to come
Yes.
out like a TV show comes out,
Yeah.
Michaela. So yeah.
Well, I'm very impatient. I like to see all the things. It helps me binge. But yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I'm very excited. HBO really does a great job with dramas in general, right? I mean, there's only been a few crime dramas that they have not like raked in the cash for. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to watch that. It'll be like I said, coming to your TVs to HBO here later this week. So let us know if you're going to be out to see any of those things. Let us know if you make a shrub or know of good shrub recipes or good shrub mocktail recipes, any of that stuff, because we're big into shrubs now, in theory at least anyway. But so we want to learn more about them, and we can all learn together here at Drink the Movies. So come join us on Discord. We'll talk about shrubs over there probably. Drop us a comment. We'll talk about shrubs wherever. We talk about shrubs on Patreon. That's where we talked about John Wick 4. That's patreon.com/drink the movies. So go check that out if you feel so inclined to support the podcast over there. We'd appreciate it. And make sure you stay tuned because we've got Little Women coming this week, the 2019 version. We'll probably hit on all the versions. There's a bunch, probably not all the versions, but so 2019, we'll try to stick to that one. So I don't know, Michaela, let's mix up this shrub cocktail and we'll head in. We're not seeing a movie tonight, but we're gonna get together and make some more shrubs, I think.
That's right. No, I just want the shrub. Da, 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 da. I don't know.
Wow. Okay, that was left eye Michaela
A
right there
shrub
singing
is
that. Yeah, that's right. It's I don't know. We're gonna leave on that note. So thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Lobby Bar, and we'll talk to you next time.